Pretty much at the dead centre of England lies the old market and mining town of Chesterfield. Historically, it's a safe Labour seat, but the local party's unity is less secure than you might imagine. Back in the day when the thing behind me, it's called a coal mine, was working, the Labour Party was created by the trade unions to defend the interests of the industrial working class. Now, those days are over. But as to the question, what's the Labour Party for? There is no settled agreement, and that spells trouble.
This summer, we're hitting the road, travelling across the country to talk about democracy in the Labour Party.
Time for a young, well, not that young, he's older than me, campaigner to get on his bike. Chris Williamson MP is the star of his own Democracy Roadshow, and he's coming to town.
Oh, Jeremy the racist!
This summer, Labour's been on the back foot, dogged by rows over anti-Semitism and reselection.
Nothing to do with the racist.
Here in Chesterfield, there's even been a hitch with the roadshow invites.
I'm not clear whether it's a public meeting or whether it's a Labour Party meeting. I'm not clear who's going to be there. And I find that really difficult as chair of the CLP, as does my secretary, that some of our members, of which we've got over 700, might not have been invited to an event if it's a Labour Party event.
Williamson is a Corbynista and thick with a left-wing momentum group. His roadshow calls for reselection of all Labour MPs, but it's said he's targeting MPs who've been critical of Corbyn. Is your intent to put the willies up MPs who've been a bit rude about Jeremy Corbyn or who've been rude about Jeremy Corbyn?
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
Absolutely
Just a little
not.
bit?
No, not in the slightest. Look, at the end of the day, it's down to members. I believe fundamentally in democracy and accountability. We are the biggest left-of-centre political party in Western Europe now. We've got more members, considerably more members than all the other political parties in the UK put together. And I just think it's right and proper that members have a right to, determine who they want as their candidate. There's nothing to fear from this at all.
And we have a big job to do, because still...
But in the meeting, Williamson didn't just go on about democracy, nice though that is. He was also clear about what he would like to see happen to Corbyn's opponents.
I tell you what, there are some people, it's not a secret, who I would love to see deselected. I really would. Because I think what they did to Jeremy Corbyn was absolutely shameful in that coup. Let's remember, at a time when the Tories were in complete disarray.
OK, well, thank you very much. Hey, it's great to see everyone here. I've been to previous anti-bullying events that's happened here.
To some, Chesterfield's MP Toby Perkins was part of that coup. He resigned from Jeremy Corbyn's shadow front bench in 2016, saying further support would be a betrayal. Has Chris Williamson been bullying you?
No.
What was he doing here last night in your constituency?
Well, I mean, clearly he's going around pursuing this mandatory reselection rule change. It is noticeable that he's only been to those constituencies of MPs that I think he considers aren't entirely in the same wing of the party as him, and so I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it moves the Labour Party closer to victory. But that is his choice, and it wasn't something that I would be doing. But obviously, he's got the right to speak to party members if that's what he wants to do.
This summer, you can't have had a Labour Party meeting without getting into anti-Semitism, and this one was no exception.
We, me, Jeremy and others of my generation stood shoulder to shoulder with the black community and the Asian community and the Jewish community, yes, against the fascists and the National Front. And we defeated them then. And at a time when the far right is on the rise in this country and across Europe, we've got people accusing Jeremy Corbyn, of all people, of being a bigot.
Hello, Mr. Slack. Hi, John Sweeney from Newsnight. 2 years ago, Chesterfield councillor Andy Slack was suspended by Labour because he posted an anti-Semitic cartoon on social media. After an apology, he was reinstated. Were you treated unfairly, Mr. Slack? Were you treated unfairly?
I just don't want to talk on television.
Yes, I know, but you're a councillor, sir. Do you regret doing what you did? And do you understand why some people in the Labour Party are concerned about anti-Semitism?
I understand that some misinterpreted it, yes. It was intended to be nothing more than criticism of Israel.
I think anti-Semitism has been a major distraction and a major detriment to the Labour Party brand. So as a politician, I look on it and say, I think we've handled it badly over the course of the summer. And the other thing it's done is totally obscure any positive message that our Shadow Cabinet or Jeremy might have been trying to get across. So if the question is in the terms of the politics of anti-Semitism, I think it's been very damaging. In terms of what voters hear, it's also been very damaging.
The constituency chair sees a new bitterness taking hold.
There have been many people in the past, as long as I've been in the Labour Party, that have criticised the leader. I mean, if we're into a situation now where we can't make any criticisms without it being taken up by people and going off and doing roadshows, then I think we're in a really bad position. We seem to have got into a situation or into a culture, almost like a culture of complaints, where everybody is complaining about everybody else. It's almost like some of our members have got the compliance unit and legal and governance on friends and family. We've lost the ability to talk to each other, to share our opinions, agree to differ. The give and take seems to have gone, and the whole social media dimension has really added fuel to that fire.
In the shadow of the crooked spire, Labour folk are doing a pretty good impression of ripping great chunks out of each other. Off camera, the battle is even nastier than on. We've heard tales of intimidation and bullying on social media. But how is Jeremy Corbyn going down with the voters? Newsnight carry out a wholly unscientific test. Okay, thank you. Jeremy Corbyn, do you like him or don't you?
Can't stand
No.
him.
Why not?
Just don't like him. Don't vote Labour anymore, and I'm from a mining community, but would never vote for him again.
Why is that? Why?
I just can't stand him. Sorry, can't stand him.
Jeremy Corbyn, do you like him? Good thing, bad thing?
Bad thing.
Why? Are you a Labour supporter normally?
I have been all my life, but no longer.
Why?
Because I think it's lurching too far to the left. It's too radical. I don't like the tone in the Labour Party at the moment. It appears to me there's a lot of bullying going on. This deselection process that seems to be happening just doesn't fit right with me, I'm afraid.
Jeremy Corbyn, good thing?
Yeah.
Why do you like him?
I think he stands up for people, that things that we believe in, for the working prospects. And to be fair, mate, at the moment in time, I think anybody's better than the Tories.
Who are you on the phone to?
Friend, mate.
Send them my regards.
I will do. Cheers, pal.
Wimborne Crescent and Cranbourne Road. That makes sense, Dave. Do you know where they are?
We caught up with Labour Councillor Mick Wall out canvassing. He's on Chris Williamson's side of the argument, but sees that division is a problem.
In 2015, we were united around a common cause. In 2016 and 2017, when Jeremy was elected and re-elected, those members of the parliamentary party that said, well, we don't feel as though Jeremy represents us. That became a very public issue, and it's difficult for people to vote for disunited parties.
This is very much a democratic bottom-up grassroots campaign to democratise the Labour Party and give the Labour Party members a greater say, a greater influence over the direction of the party. And tell you what, by doing that, that will make us a much more powerful electoral force. It will be an unstoppable force, and that will carry us into government and will help to sustain us when we get there. Listen to the members. As Ed Miliband said, listen to the members and you won't make as many mistakes.
This sort of total concentration the whole time on the inner workings of the Labour Party. We're going to turn ourselves inside out, and meanwhile the election will go down the Sweeney because we're not doing enough to get out there and talk to people, and it's all about getting the Labour Party elected.
The political landscape is a-changing, but one old law holds good. Focusing on internal troubles doesn't win over the voters. Labour may be hoping that at this week's conference it can finally put its summer of discontent behind it.